I'd like to welcome y'all once again to my YouTube channel, See Me in My 50s. And this gonna be another video I come speaking about my background a little bit. Like I said in my last video, I'm not used to making these type of videos. I'm usually making shorts, but it's about time for me to transition over and start making my videos a little bit longer. So bear with me and thank you for joining me. Let's talk about trucking. Why I transitioned out of trucking. And the reason why I transitioned out of trucking is because trucking transitioned. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I had my CDL for about 24 years. I hauled dairy for 20 of those years. The same company, refrigeration. The other years I bounced around, did some contract work. Recently I said I did not want to haul freight anymore because one thing I noticed, the fun is not there anymore hauling freight. When I started back in the day, and a lot of truckers not gonna really agree with me with this video, probably because they didn't drive trucks back in the late 90s and the early 2000s. That's why, they're not gonna agree with me. Back then, you wasn't micromanaged as much. Now I watched the transition go into trucking with all the cameras, all the tracking devices, and I got into trucking to avoid all of that. It was something I always wanted to do at a young age, because it gave me independence. I was able to work by myself. And what happened was they start tracking us way too much. Since trucking transitioned, like I said, I transitioned. Now I still do drive away because, that's a little bit different than hauling freight. Recently I noticed, although they didn't, I was renting trucks for a while, leasing them. One thing I did notice about a truck I was using, although they didn't have cameras inside the cab of the truck, one of the brokers wanted me to download an app so they can actually track me. And I understand, modern technology and everything, people interested in knowing where their loads are. And that's something that I understand. Do I agree with that? For myself, no. Like I said, some truckers, they're used to that. It was a hard time for me. I had a hard time adopting cameras being on me while driving. Not just watching the outside of the truck, but it facing me, seeing what I was doing there. At times, I had people telling me I couldn't drink water. With the same company that I was with in the dairy industry doing refrigeration. Like I said, I did that for 20 years with the same company. But when I started with that company, that didn't exist. I just hung in there. It was a union-based company. And, I stayed there so long because I was used to it until they finally shut the door back in 2020. And I told myself, when I start doing some contract work out here in the Southeast, I started doing that with hauling some freight with cameras, and after being off for a while, not dealing with it, going back to it, it wasn't for me. It was not for me. Like I said, a lot of truckers would disagree with it. They'll still say it's fun, but I will admit, it was a lot more enjoyable back in the day. A lot of truckers this day and age that were doing it, that's been doing trucking maybe for the last, say, 15 years, say 10 years, anywhere between 10 and 12 years, have never experienced what I experienced when I first started trucking, not being watched. I remember, and I can say these things now, I was able to drop that trailer at times when I was near someone's home that I knew, out and about, drop the trailer somewhere in a Walmart parking lot and, bobtail over to their house and hang out, without company even knowing. I would have said these things back in the day, but I don't mind saying it now. nothing ever happened. But now you can't do that. So trucking has totally changed, and that's why even with freight, hauling freight, it has nothing to do with freight being down. It's just the funds not there anymore, and it's hard to explain. A lot of things that these truckers have access to now, like cell phones. You know, we didn't have these back in the day. These cell phones with all this GPS, we were using road atlases. Even at my age, you know, I started trucking when I was 27. And that was, like I said, I think I got my license, what was that, maybe about I got my CDL back in 1998. And I didn't really get I didn't start refrigeration until 2000. So I worked for a moving company at first. But we didn't have all these cell phones. We had to use road atlas. So we were very, very independent. And you had to have a high level of competence to hang in there. So I transitioned out of trucking. The main reason why I had a hard time being micromanaged. And you're gonna have to excuse me, my light's gonna go out too. I'm still on here if it goes out, so excuse that. But being micromanaged is not the reason why I had gotten into trucking. I got into trucking for the independence and not to be bothered, to be left alone. You know, that's something I wanted to do for a long time. And, you know, I made some good money off of trucking, but I still drive trucks, like power only equipment, just no freight. I don't haul freight, just power only equipment, from one location to the other location. And I can say now, and actually can admit now, that I'm actually getting paid specifically to travel. Some of the equipment that I'm actually driving is just heavy equipment. You need a CDL for buses, tractors without the trailer. I've driven garbage trucks, mobile cranes, concrete pumps, motorhomes. So it's been fun. I'm able to go in areas where tractor trailers can't go because I'm more of a transporter now. And I'm doing the type of work that it don't get no easier than that. I've done contract work, hauling freight, although it's been super easy. With that micromanaging, no, can't do it. Had to give it up. Sometime when you get to my age and been doing something as long as I've been doing it, like I said, for 24 years, plus actually 25 years. I got my license, like I said, in 1998. Yeah, so that's about 25, 26 years. Had my license. Like I said, when I first got my license, I didn't start driving trucks right away. I took a few months because I had another job. But all in all, I've been driving trucks for well over 20 years. And I've watched the transition. The micromanaging, even if it's not intentional, does not sit well for me. So the industry has changed, and since it transitioned, I had to transition out of it. That's my story on trucking. Make sure you leave comments. If you like some questions, I'll answer them. Thank you for joining me. In the future, I'll bring more videos like this one. Maybe we could talk about trucking, my years in it. If you want to get more details. And like I said, thank you for joining me. This is See Me in My 50s. And make sure you check out some of my videos on my shorts. I'm trying to grow my channel. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll talk to you soon.